Hey, welcome to Toon Time, bringing you Newcastle United news and discussion. Straight into it. It's just a little review after the past game on Saturday, as well as a little preview after upcoming Carabao Cup Semi-Final against Southampton. So yeah, this yeah, Saturday was frustrating. It was quite frustrating from what I was watching. You know, it's we're creating half chances, but you can see the attacking play is quite stagnant at times at the moment. I don't know how how Eddie Howe and the coaching staff are gonna address this. As he's still trying to, you can see they're still trying to bring Sam Maximan and Alexander Isaac up to full speed, but you can see. I've seen suggestions about Callum Wilson looking quite sluggish, and he did look like that a bit. He did look a bit out of sorts. But it may also be that it's due to he's not really being able to have that same amount of space behind the defense to exploit. So he's having to just make those slight adjustments. Yeah, and which he will do because he still gets into good positions. I think he had a good chance with a header, which was quite, but it was just tame. It was tame when he reached him. So yeah, it's just one of those things. At the moment, unfortunately, Miguel Almiron's not really hasn't been scoring. We always knew it may come a period where he is gonna level off because his goal scoring run was unprecedented for him. I think even in his career, really, I don't think he's ever been a prolific goal scorer like that. But it's always gonna come where he'll have a lean period, and teams are kind of starting to target the right hand side. Trying to close down him and Kieran Trippier's combination. And the midfield, it's got I think a couple of chances. Everything was just scrappy almost against Crystal Palace. That's what our teams are trying to do right now. Make it very scrappy, defending quite deeply. Catching us on the break if they can. I mean, you saw what Nick Pope the save he had to make from Crystal Palace's Mateta, I think it is. Yeah, he made a brilliant save, and that really helped us because they wouldn't have deserved to win. And if they had scored, I don't know if we would have been able to get back into it. In the first half, I remember Jordan had a chance and he shot quite tame at the keeper. It's just that lack of quality at the moment in front of goal. Because in the past 4 games, it's only 1 goal scored, but we kept clean sheets in every one, which is something to be proud of. And now we brought a record, I believe, 15 games unbeaten. So Eddie Howe's got that record. He took it from Alan Pardew. So yeah, there's shoots of hope. There's things to build on. So even though at the moment there is that frustration that we aren't really grabbing hold of games and cleaning off the opposition and getting those wins we really do deserve. We should have won against Crystal Palace personally, and against who else? Just one moment. I'm just trying to remember now. It's just been really frustrating that we're getting opportunities. Well, half opportunities, and we're just not hitting the back of the net at the moment. And it's just one of those things that that things aren't going well for us here. Because Arsenal, that was an excellent point really, and we were doing what teams are doing to us. We basically the game what Leeds done to us, we done to Arsenal. So it's just swings and roundabouts. So we had to play in a certain way to get points, and all right, it's 6 points from a possible 12 in the past 4 games, but it's a decent return. We know we're gonna need more if we're trying to finish top 6, hopefully top 4. But it's just that period of adjustment that now teams are really respecting how dangerous we are as a attacking unit, and the fact that we're so hard to break down. So Eddie Howe's starting to marry though is just a fine balance in that, because games ago, we were smacking teams regularly, 3-4 goals. So uh, it's not really a cause for concern. It's getting players back, especially in the attacking areas, which was necessary. And hopefully they can get a couple of signings in, because that is very necessary now that Chris Wood has left on loan to Nottingham Forest. John Joe Shaw is probably not going to be back for a while, so it was already a need that was necessary, because even though Bruno can play in that deeper line role, that number 6 role, and he did that when he was at Olympic Lyon, I believe. When he was playing box to box for us last season, he was really immense, and I think they really do have to target someone who's more that defensive mind, who can keep possession and just pass it on to the players who are a bit more creative, like Bruno, which will cause a lot more problems for teams, because when Bruno's having to come from so deep, it's very difficult, for him to pick out them balls and then get back into the correct defensive positions. And I think that's what we're struggling with. We're just missing that attacking edge. If Bruno's taken out of the game, we don't really have that number 10. We have very industrious midfielders in Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff, and Joe Willock, but they just don't really have that ingenuity, that ability to pick the locks in the opposition defenses. So hopefully we can sort that out. Hopefully there's a signing brought in. Definitely need um, a forward player, I would say, more so than a striker. Someone who can play on the flanks and through the middle, and just give that extra depth, because that's what we're lacking. And at the moment, it is very much a case of being ahead of schedule in the project, and we're just lacking that depth. When you see the best teams in the league, Man City, Arsenal, Man United. Well, I wouldn't say Man United as much, but especially the cream of the crop is Man City. When you look at them, basically, you can see there is no drop off really from their first team to what they may consider second team. Like the difference between, who can I say like Mars and Foden, or Bernardo Silva. Even when I'm saying it, it sounds almost ridiculous. Like, how can you say there is basically no difference between the players? And at the moment, there's a heavy cliff, like between like Almiron to Jacob Murphy. When Sam Maximin was playing Ryan Fraser, I mean, it's just a chasm of difference in terms of quality. There isn't that much between Callum Wilson and Alexander Isaac, but they were previously both injured at the same time, and then it was from them two to Chris Wood. It was just, there's a big drop in quality. Even though they work extremely hard, I'm not going to disrespect the ability to put in the effort and hard work for the team. If we're being honest, there is a difference in their actual playing ability, and that's what's going to have to be addressed, hopefully, by the end of this transfer window. But we already know it's going to be very difficult. Teams aren't really willing to negotiate with Newcastle, especially in the Premier League, I believe, because there is a seeming resentment, I believe, and teams aren't willing to negotiate, or if they are, they're going to give a premium, because of the perception that Newcastle are supposedly the richest club in the world, which is, they have the richest owners when you consider the PIF, I suppose, but it doesn't work like that. Newcastle United aren't the richest club in world club football, because of measures like financial fair play. So that's a whole different issue, and I'm getting off track. But basically, back to the game on Saturday, I did feel that I was just frustrated watching it, because they were there to be taken down, basically, and we just couldn't open them up. And I believe once it clicks, once we get a game where we do we just beat down a team, we're gonna be back in motion. Because I do feel, even though it will be premature to get into Europe, it's good for the players to have that motivation to reach for those higher levels, and it will also attract signings to join the club. Players will be more willing to come because they know there'll be opportunities to be into the rotation and they'll get games and be able to showcase their abilities to a wider audience when they're playing in Europe. So I really feel like that Eddie Howe does have a plan, and everyone just has to be patient and trust in what he's doing, because all everyone has to remember, this time last year we were very much in the relegation zone. Everyone was feeling like it could be over. We're going back to the championship again, you know, basically because of the previous regime's neglect and irresponsibility. But he's shown that he can steady a ship and get it going in the right direction. So I believe that we just have to respect what his process and what he's trying to do. There are things that frustrate me about when you're watching the game, like his later substitutions, but every manager has their nuances, their way of doing things, and I feel like he just likes to try and keep that balance on the pitch and not try and disrupt things. He'll try and give out instructions, and players will hopefully follow them, and his vision of what he sees out on the pitch will come to fruition. And I feel that's how he tries to do things. And if he has to shut the team with substitutions, then he'll do it. And that's how I feel like he tries to manipulate the opposition and try and find ways to break them down. But that's why when Sam Maximin came on, he straight away he got a lot more attention, and the game was slightly opening up, but we just looked like we were lacking ideas, just that lack of ingenuity, like everyone's been saying, like in the forums and like I always say on Reddit and all those type of things, in the blogs like Newcastle United blog, that we're missing that like number 10, that attacking midfielder who can give that creativity, because Bruno's playing too deep at the moment. And like I said, even though Joelinton, Longstaff and Willock work really hard and the cover spaces, they press really well, they've never really shown that ability on the ball to pick out those passes. They've got that effort and everything, but that ingenuity is very hard to find in players, and unfortunately we don't have that beyond Bruno and like with Kieran Trippier with his crossing ability. And because John Joe's not available, even though I'm not a great fan of him, he does, when he's ready, he does have a quality ball on him. But I feel like with him, he's very hit and miss. But he looks like he was really trying hard to play this season, and he's just been hit by the injury bug. When he got himself into the best shape of his life, he looks really sharp in pre-season. I was even a bit excited to see what he was gonna do, and he got those unfortunate injuries. And I don't know if he'll even be back for Newcastle. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with his situation as well. Yeah, so all in all, disappointed with that draw, but it was a good away point. Getting points away from home always has to be applauded. I wish we'd taken the 3 points that were there, but it's just one of those situations where you just have to accept it and just move on. I know that the team probably were disappointed, but I know Eddie Howe will refocus them onto the game against Southampton tomorrow, just Tuesday. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. I think we got a good chance of getting something at St Mary's. At least keep them quiet. But they're gonna be a very very tough team. That you can see that when they beat Man City, that there's a freedom in their play, and not having the pressure of the Premier League is an escape for those players, because they're in a lot of trouble at the moment. Bottom of the league, and it don't look like they're gonna be coming back into the race. But it's not that they're not that far adrift. It's only 2 points away from safety for them, but they've not been performing particularly well. And I think they lost against Villa, was it? at home. So yeah, so they're gonna want to respond against us tomorrow and try and get something. And I think it's gonna be a very interesting game because both teams are quite disappointed from the weekend's results, so they're gonna want to prove something. And it'd be a good chance for Eddie Howe to try and integrate Sam Maximin and Alexander Isaac into the team, get them some minutes and get them some fluency and fluidity in their game and their their partnerships, because it does take a little bit of time to get that rhythm, that understanding of each other's game, the way that you move, the way that you like to receive the ball. Just those little things. It does take a little bit of time. You can do it on the training pitch, but it's not the same as in match. And once they get it right, I think they'll be flying, and that will make us a lot more dangerous, especially for games like when we face the likes of Crystal Palace and Leeds, who are going to try and sit deep and frustrate us. That having players like those coming off the bench or already starting and having that rhythm with each other is going to make us a lot more dangerous, and we're going to be able to pull teams apart a lot more. Because I do feel like this is a really great opportunity to get to Wembley. You know, I'm not looking beyond Southampton because they've shown they can beat anyone on their day, and they beat Man City. No one expected anyone to be beating Man City. It was a lot of us were hoping the only time we played them maybe the final. If we're being honest, no one wanted to face them in any of the earlier rounds, and Southampton have managed to get past them, so they're gonna have no fear for us. They're gonna, this is an escape for the players and the fringe players in their team to get some minutes, and for Nathan Jones to try and implement some new strategies to get some confidence into his players. So we have to be aware of them. Be very wary of them because they're gonna be dangerous. But they have to be worrying. They have to worry about what we're gonna bring to the table as well. Because I think Eddie Howe's got a plan to really let the players off the leash and cause a lot of damage. Because the 1 goal in 4 games, I know that he won't be happy with that. Because he's renowned as an attack-minded coach first and foremost. Well, he's just making certain that he's got a solid defense because he's been criticised about that quite a bit. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to that tomorrow. So once again, thank you for listening, and wherever you are, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Peace.